we're going to be talking about a commitment. We're going to have the commitment live, not live for you, live for us, and you'll get to see our reaction to it here in just a minute. Will conformity down to Alabama and Ole Miss? Most people believe. We think it'll be Alabama. That's our prediction. But we're going to talk about that in a second. We're also going to talk about another potential commitment for Alabama coming up very shortly, and a surprise commitment apparently tonight that doesn't have anything to do with Alabama, but it is weird. We're going to talk about that and more on today's Locked On Bama, brought to you by Bet Online.
Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, how are you today?
Doing great. Man, I feel like I'm in mission control here. I'm tech challenged, as we all know, but here I am with two cell phones. We got the Locked On stream up. We got Instagram Live up. I've got Bama on 3 up, and man, I feel like I'm trying to land the space shuttle here.
You know, Jimmy has problems when he already has something in the microwave and already cooking and going to the refrigerator. So he has problems with working those two things. So working two cell phones podcast, that's going to be amazing for one Jimmy's time. But Jimmy, I want to lead this off with kind of a non-Bama thing, but I should tell everybody that we are going to talk about the Will Conformity commitment. As soon as he commits, we've got it each on Instagram Live or whatever he's doing it on. We hope it does it in a timely fashion so that we can talk about it right when it happens. We wanted you to get our genuine reactions. But apparently, and this is Joseph Hastings posted this, so I think it's right. The number 2 running back in the country, Reuben Owens from El Campo, Texas, has committed, get this, to the University of Louisville. What you should be more surprised.
No, I'm not surprised at all. And this is why. I'm surprised that it's Louisville. I'm surprised that Reuben Owens is going to Louisville. That is surprising. But what is not surprising in any way is that one of the nation's premier prospects is going to someplace weird. This is what I've been talking about for weeks and months. It's going to be like this the entire year. It's going to be like, no one needs to be scratching their head at all. This is about NIL. I have no idea what was offered. I have no idea. I'm sure the kid's going to claim it's not about the money, just for the same reason NFL players, when they leave for free agency, don't talk about the money with their new team. But and again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this. This is just the reality of what it is these days. But whatever was offered by whatever company or collective or whatever happened, I mean, that's the explanation, just like it's going to be the explanation for the next 50 head-scratching things that happen, including in-state kids that Alabama wants, including all sorts of players that Alabama wants, including Alabama getting some guys they might not have otherwise gotten because of NIL. It's just going to be the explanation for anything that looks odd. And the nation's number 2 running back committing to Louisville, yeah, it looks odd, but we know why.
Okay, we do know why. And this sort of flies in the face, though, of what, at first everybody thought that's what it would be, everybody going to the highest bidder, and then everybody thought it'd always be the rich get richer. Well, this guy's sort of throwing everything a curveball. We have no idea what an NIL deal would be for him if he's really getting one. And if he is getting one, I think this would be kind of what Nick Saban was complaining about, right? If he's already guaranteed an NIL deal. Am I wrong in that? I mean,
Jimmy? It would depend. Yeah, it would depend on exactly what he was offered. It would depend on what he was offered and by who and by when is he receiving it, and is he just made aware of what will happen? But yeah, it's partly what Nick Saban's talking about, but it's also just the reality of what is happening in recruiting. I mean, all these kids want to know what exactly is going to happen with NIL here at this school, and they're told, and then they make a decision.
All right, Jimmy, we're going to go ahead and tell everybody about Bet Online, because right now this announcement is about to get underway. We want to be on the air when that is happening. Even though we could lie to you and tell you we're not on there because you're not watching this live, we want to do it live because we're honest. But BetOnline, they're also honest. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs and the Major League Baseball that's going on right now and takes forever. BetOnline is your continued source for sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. And BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores podcast news this season. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check on all your favorite sports events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. BetOnline is where the game starts. Also want to thank everybody for making us your first listen. You guys are the best. We have almost 1,350 subscribers now on YouTube. That's amazing. You guys, man, I do appreciate you guys. I mean, I can't tell you guys enough how much Jimmy and I really do appreciate y'all. I mean, I think people say, like, I know I do it in sort of a cliche way sometimes. Like, if somebody holds the door open, I'm like, appreciate you, you know. But I really don't appreciate them. I thank them a little bit, but I don't appreciate them. I appreciate y'all though, and I know Jimmy does too, because he's a great American. Jimmy, okay, Wilk informed me his coach is a little more long-winded than I thought he'd be. I think this is his coach. I don't have the volume on because I want people to hear us.
That's right. Got my volume down too. Watching it on Wilkin's Instagram. Wilkin has gone live on his Instagram, and that's where I'm streaming this and keeping an eye on it. And this could be short, could be long. I don't know. We hadn't really talked about what's going to happen. I think, officially, I think it's going to be Alabama. I am not certain of that. I'm not told that. Sometimes we're told, to be honest, in the recruiting industry. Sometimes we do know because, things have to be prepared beforehand. Sometimes we do know. We do not know with the situation. I don't know, even though I have sources even close to Wilkin. I don't know. And others that I know don't know. We're all guessing. But my guess is Alabama. I would say I have something like 60% confidence in that. My confidence has grown today, though. But that said, it is just a fact that as of this morning, Ole Miss was confident too. Ole Miss is confident this morning. So that either means they were told or not told yet. But Ole Miss was confident. So that's what I'm saying. This could really go in a couple of different directions here. Anything outside of Alabama or Ole Miss would be surprising if it's Tennessee or Oklahoma. Although I do know Oklahoma liked him a lot, and he likes Oklahoma a lot. But I think if it's not Alabama, it's Ole Miss. And but Wilkin's a really good prospect. I'm going to be excited to get him. First of all, Nick Saban wants him. That means I want him too. I've seen the tape, and for some people that downplay him because he's local or has extensive ties to Alabama through his family, he is a on-3 consensus national top 100 prospect. The fact that he lives in Tuscaloosa or has ties to Alabama has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that On3, who has a system for ranking players, does not take into account things like he's from Tuscaloosa. So this is a national top 100 prospect, which makes him elite. The top 100 players in the NFL draft, Luke, do things like they're drafted in the first 3 rounds. That's a big deal.
Second of all, I mean, this is did you ever see Lethal Weapon 4 when I think it's Renee Russo, right? That wasn't it Renee Russo that Mel Gibson was like, she was love interest of Mel Gibson in those movies, maybe? I can't remember.
That 4? I didn't know. I didn't remember there was a 4.
It's the worst. This is why I hate that. This is why I hate it, because at the end, if I think it's Renee Russo, it may not be. I hate the movie so much I probably blocked it out. She gives birth to Mel Gibson's baby, and they're all in the hospital. And the movie keeps, like, all the Lethal Weapon people keep coming in, like, one by one, and they have their own little montage or whatever to give presents and like honor the baby or whatever. And I'm thinking, this movie's never gonna end. I mean, here comes Joe Pesci. Here comes some other dude that was just a random, just not funny dude in the movie. Here comes some other jackass. And I mean, it just kept coming. And I was like, I just want to get out of this movie. And I'll never forget that I went to see the movie like on a random night. And when it was over at 11:30 that night, I called the friend that recommended it to me. and I practically cussed her out and said, "Don't ever tell me to go see a movie again. You're the worst. This may end our friendship." She was mad I woke her up. All right, Formby is making his announcement now. He has the mic in hand. He is reading from a prepared script. And I'm not exaggerating. He has a big notebook in front of him.
Yeah.
That's scary doing a live podcast when we don't know what's going to be over. Huh?
You were referring to another movie, but this movie could literally be a sequel to The Notebook.
He's committing to Lethal Weapon 5. That, by the way, as I'm looking at his Instagram live, it sounds like Peter Woods has joined the chat, and because a lot of people are Instagramming at him. Do you Instagram it? I know you tweet at people, but people are like saying, "Hey, Peter Woods, come to Alabama." That's kind of cool if he's Peter Woods on here.
I got to say, I don't know a lot about Instagram other than that's a great place to go see pictures of Kylie Jenner. That's really the only thing I know about Instagram. That's literally sums it up. I didn't really know that these kids did sports things, but it looks like Wilkin has just committed to
Alabama. Wilkin Formby commits to Bama. All right, Jimmy, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about this huge news. But Wilkin Formby, if you were waiting on our podcast to make the announcement of where Wilkin Formby went,
You're late.
You're late. And secondly, it's Alabama. We're going to be back in just a second. All right, Jimmy. Man, he is getting a lot of hugs. I mean, there are a lot of people there, and he's getting a lot of hugs, and good for him. And one thing that I don't know if you even said this on what.
Very. I love his family very much. There's only one guy I know from the family well, and he's a great guy. But the reason I'm saying I love his family very much is taco burgers from Taco Casa are like my favorite fast food item in the world is a taco burger from Taco Casa. And his family, or he has family that owns the Taco Casa franchise. So thank you, Formby clan, for making this delicious item. I ate 3 of them this past weekend.
I smell a taco flavored NIL deal in his future
with his own family. With his own family, it would be the most legal NIL deal ever.
Jimmy, they legitimately get to give him money like this. They can write it off. It all works. It's just write it off.
He could appear in the Taco Casa commercials on that air on TV in Tuscaloosa. It's just a Tuscaloosa local franchise. But yeah, it would be the most legal NIL deal of all time. The NCAA wouldn't even waste their time on that one.
No, and every time I hear write-off, I think about the Seinfeld episode where they go, these companies, they just write it off. You don't even know what a write-off is. He goes, do you? He goes, no, but they do, and they're the ones writing it off.
Anyway, to Wilkin, really good player. Like I said, national top 100 player, prototypical tackle. He's very proud of telling people he's 6'8", not 6'6", not 6'7". He's proud of telling people he's 6'8", which means to me he's either 6'8" or darn close. But boy, 6'8", long arms, long legs, plays hard, real physical guy. I even think with that crazy height and length, he might actually play some at guard just simply because he plays with a lot of power. His tape, and he's going against some pretty good players. I mean, he plays kind of big, Northridge in Tuscaloosa plays big schools. He's dominant on his tape. He plays hard. He plays through the echo of the whistle. That shows what kind of physicality. I mean, this kid plays hard. He likes to play. He likes the physical part of it. He's a good player. Now that makes Alabama's 5th commitment. And boy, all 5. Where does he rank
for you? Where does he rank for you in those 5?
Boy, that's a really good question. This doesn't sound great when I say this, but 5th. Yet I say 5th, and all 5 Alabama commitments are national top 100 per On 3 and per us. I would have Hurley, number 1, who's a 5-star. I would have Holstein, number 2, just simply because of the importance of the position. And I think by the end of the cycle, he's going to be up there, that high. I'm brain farting, but Elliot Washington I would have Elliott Washington's a national top 100 player to me. I would still have him ahead of Formby. And
Jimmy, let me tell you why I wouldn't. And this isn't because of the player I think Elliott Washington is, but I don't think Elliott Washington is like on the fence if he's going to be a part of this class, right?
That is correct. He's wavering. He's going on other visits. He went on a visit to Penn State. He's gone on a visit to Michigan State. I think he's seriously giving Michigan State in particular a really long look, and he might not end up in the class, but as of right now, he's in it. And in terms of where I would rank him, to me, he's a top 100 player, particularly with that spring. He had a 10.6 100-meter time this spring, which really just blew me away. That's elite fast for a kid that could even play safety. But I would have it Hurley, then Holstein, then Washington, then Yanze Pierre, then Formby. But it shows how good of a start we're off to here, Luke, because all five to me are completely legitimate on three consensus top 100 players, and they all rank in the top 100 per on three, and I'm not the one doing the rankings over there.
Wilkin Formby is the number 10 player in the state, and the number 1 player in the state, and the number 6 player in the state are apparently visiting Alabama like tomorrow. Is that right?
Today, Quay Russell and James got to Alabama today, Monday. I'm not sure if they're participating in the camp that's going on, although I think they might be participating in this camp. Might be just watching the camp and watching the coach's coach. Really big, though, because Russell and Smith were making officials to Georgia over the weekend. The fact that they immediately came to Tuscaloosa after the official to Athens, sort of a big deal. I think, if we're just looking for every possible sign of something positive, that was a positive as far as Quay Russell and James Smith go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was huge. But the big news of the day is Wilkin Formby, Tuscaloosa boy, stays home. Tuscaloosa man, mountain of a man, 6'8", and don't you forget it. Big, mean. Jimmy says he plays through the echo of the whistle, which sounds scary. He's a dude. Wilkin Formby has committed to the Alabama, and we're excited. So we'll talk about him more on this podcast and podcasts to come when you listen to more Locked On Bama. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.